2 of my vlog. Things have already gone unexpectedly different today. For one, it's hugely windy, and I bought the microphone to fix my phone so you can hear me well, but the phone was too heavy for my gimbal. So now I'm propped up in a little, picnic, little, what's it called, a kiosk picnic bench thing, and I've got the phone propped up on my bag, and you've got a nice view of the garbage bin behind, but you do at least have a view of the ocean. So things don't always go as planned, and the more we can let go and go with that, the easier it is. The more we resist it and try and control things, well, I find I'm just making life too hard for myself. So I woke up this morning, I was a little bit teary, not when I first woke, just as the day got on, and I realised that a big part of what it was that I just had myself under unnecessary pressure, because there was nothing actually wrong in the day other than everything I was trying to achieve in one go. And what I find at times like that is that I always end up here, up on this headland. It's usually not this windy and crazy, but it's often windy, but not this bad. So I go and get a smoothie from my favourite smoothie place, and then I come up here, and once I see the open ocean, it all gets blown away. And in this case, a smoothie jar that I took to the smoothie shop is actually propping this phone up while I record this. I do have a camera, and I'm getting the right microphone for that as well, but I want to be able to not always be thinking about tech gear and everything else. I want to be able to just share thoughts as they come. So one of the things I've found through living with disease, and I think it applies to any challenge anyway, is that we all do put ourselves under too much pressure, but our lessons are given to us from a place of love, and I've learnt some very strong habits. I've created some very strong habits around self-care when I feel my joy slipping away, or when I feel under pressure, whatever that pressure is that I've put myself under. And I was too sick to work for a few months last year, so now that the summer holidays are over, I've got a bit of catching up to do, but I also have a lot of ideas and wanting to get my business to a place where someone else actually runs it for me, not just having a team that helps me, but have someone that runs the business so I can just focus solely on creativity as it strikes. So but to get that in place, it's going to take a couple of months of work, and I'm also re-signing the option for the film rights for my book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. I've had that going on this week. I've also been speaking with a lovely agent about my novel, my first novel. So there's some really big things happening on top of all of that, and really I just want to create now. So what I've done as an act of kindness is taken myself out of the office completely today, and come up here and let the wind blow it all away. Spend some time with our sweet little boy. He's a bit camera shy, he's very timid, Tickles. He's our little rescue boy. And I feel better already just for seeing the blue ocean and the blue sky. But there's always a choice, even when it feels like there's not. Even if you don't have the flexibility to take a day off work like I have today, you can always go and sit in the park at lunchtime, or go for a walk and clear your head, or shift your perspective, or something like that. That's what I find works for me anyway. Just reminding myself that, okay, there's a choice here. This is a day of your life. Is this how you want to spend it? Time is sacred. It's ticking away. No, Bronnie, I don't want to spend it under pressure, trying to do more and more work if my heart and my joy aren't into it in that moment, on that day. So instead I've come here, and I possibly will work later this afternoon, but I'll be in a much better space for it. So it's nice to have you here, and I'll share with you a little bit of what's been going on in our life over the last week or two. these are my friends Lou and Jen, my chai mamas, and we've all watched our kids grow up together. Eleanor was 3 when I met Lou and 4 when I met you, Jen, I think. And how old are you now, 10?
Yep.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of chais under the water.
A lot of chais.
A lot of chais.
Cheers.
Cheers. I was just about to close the blind of my daughter's room, and there's a kookaburra sitting on the fence in the rain. I mentioned earlier on in this episode that I have some pretty strong self-care habits, and I don't sort of think of self-care as just massages and bath times and, you know, candlelit baths with essential oil. I think self-care are the habits that you create every single day, or as often as you can. So I have a habit of coming out here to the swinging chair when my work is finished for the day, in the last hour before my daughter comes home from school. She'll be riding home from school soon, and on her bike, and I love that sound when she gets to the door, you know, and I hear, "Hi, Mum," and it's beautiful. But in that transition from being a working woman to being a mum, I like to sit and just have a little bit of time out here especially in summer. This is a shady corner of the yard, and I make a chai, and I just sit here and, well, in this case, listen to the sounds of suburbia going on all around us. But the view from this chair makes everything worthwhile, and so it's not all about just moaning about the sounds of suburbia, because it's actually possible to turn those off in my mind and just be fully present with my chai and with the trees that I look at from this chair, and see their branches swaying in the wind, and just have that moment of reflection. I usually don't bring my phone out here either, and I just have my cuppa and be fully present with my cuppa. So to all the chai lovers out there, or the potential chai lovers, this cup actually holds 2 cups of chai. I try and do it most days, this routine, but it doesn't always work that way. But certainly I do it a few days a week. I sit out here and honestly, I make good chai. And so I have my bare feet on the ground here, and so I have a bit of grounding, and somehow I managed to tune out. It's actually the time of day I sit out here is actually a really busy time of day, so there's a lot more traffic noise than there normally would be, than there is in a couple of hours' time. But in a couple of hours' time I'm in mother mode more than chai mode. So thanks for joining me for this chai, and thanks for joining me for this whole episode, and I'm so grateful that you're here. It's proving to be a really enjoyable process, this learning for me, and I'm grateful to be able to share it with you. But for now, it's chai time.